walk alone at night.
Excuse me, you misogynist, sexist!
Well, if we made it past part 11, then I'm sure you will enjoy part 12 even more. Let's jump straight into this video where feminists are literally getting owned by their own gender. This woman just shuts down most feminists with what she thinks feminists really are.
I think that feminism is really, really, really complicated, and it's really nuanced and it's really messy. And you can't talk about gender without talking about race and class and the gender binary and ableism and sex work and capitalism and colonialism. You just cannot talk about one of those things without talking about the rest of them. But it's like
Kamala Harris has been real quiet since this came out.
No, same answer with Kamala and her most recent issues, again, blaming gender, as I had with AOC. Man, these fake feminists who bring the women's movement back so far by channeling everything right on back to, oh, it's our gender, doggone it, people don't like us because we're female.
She is an absolute hypocrite.
Own self-worth.
That was one heck of a debate.
Preventing intimate partner and sexual violence against women, taking action and generating evidence, as well as the ANRO's research for the Australian Bureau of Statistics Personal Safety Survey. A variety of these research pieces go to one of the key elements that go towards violence against women is
off.
Peter, I just want to get one final thought from you. Are there words that are used to describe men that offend you?
Not particularly, and if there are some I don't like, I certainly wouldn't want them banned. But it always goes back to that old adage: sticks and stones may break my bones, but there will always be something to offend a feminist.
Peter Lloyd.
No, that's just obnoxious.
Peter
Sorry,
Lloyd,
you have to give me a chance.
Take a seat and be quiet.
Just curious. Yeah. Enlighten me.
Well,
I can tell you one thing. You're about the only person in the world who thinks that the European experiment is a success. They have no money. They're being bailed out by everyone. The whole thing is falling to pieces. And look at her. My God, you need to read a newspaper. You have got to be informing yourself. The European Union are about to crumble. The euro is about to crumble. Are you aware of that?
And the US dollar's doing so good
right now? It's doing a lot better. It's doing an awful lot better. Europe is falling to pieces. You do know that now, do you? Don't you? You know that they're rioting in Greece. In Greece, people retire at 50, and they can't continue to pay them. Greece has no money. You do know that. You do know that. You know that in France, there is an incredible problem. They're spending more money than they have. You do know this. Ireland, where I'm from, we are in such bad shape, we have had to give over the sovereignty of our country to the IMF. The IMF had to come in to run Ireland. Do not sit here and try and explain to people.
He said the right thing.
Better than the guys at literally being a woman.
The backfiring blowback of feminism and equality sucks. You wanted equal rights, equal possibilities, equal opportunities, but you do not want the responsibilities that comes with equality and feminism. You wanted gender equality. Now you have to compete with guys on things that used to be women only. It sucks, But this is what you fought for. This is what you want. Now you have to actually face the consequences of feminism, of equality. You will actually have to compete on the same level as us guys. And now we're actually losing on it, because we're faster than you. Well, you wanted this. Now we are having it. How do you think about that?
Well, he proved her wrong.
I know women did, and we wouldn't have it if those women hadn't stood up for it.
Okay, well, because it seems that we're going through a historical timeline. Historically, that's actually not accurate. The majority of women...
Historically, that is accurate.
So women actually, the majority of women didn't want the right to vote. It was men who gave them the right to vote.
I didn't know if it was the majority, but it wouldn't have happened if women hadn't stood up in the suffragist movement and fought for it.
Well, the reason I bring that up is because you said women and minorities fought for that right, not white men. When the fact is women actually, as a majority, didn't fight for that right. Many of them fought against it. White men fought for that and were the ones who signed that into law.
Because of women. They wouldn't have signed it into law if women hadn't made them sign it into law.
But they didn't. The majority of women didn't want it. That's my point. And the reason they didn't want it, by the way, we'll move on from this, was because of the fact that voting came with the draft, mandatory bucket duty responsibilities that were actually not bestowed upon women at that time, and they didn't want the right to vote because it would come with the same responsibilities. So women got the right to vote, but they didn't have to be a part of the draft or mandatory bucket duty, mandatory firefighting service. So historically, I'm just saying that's actually
physically stronger.
Yeah, I do think that men commit a significant amount, a majority of the violent crime in this country, but it's also perpetrated against men. In other words, if we're both walking down the street at night, I am more likely to be violently attacked than you are.
I'm talking more about like sexual assaults, abductions, things like that. A predator would probably want to take me before taking you because I'm smaller. Because, okay, if you want to use that term.
Oh, what term would you use?
I mean, you don't. Anyway, that's besides the point. Also,
physically, I'm stronger and you're physically weaker. That's what I'm saying. In other words, for the same reason that I would try and help you if someone were physically assaulting you because I'm stronger than you.
And someone could drag me into a van a lot easier than they could drag you into a van.
Yeah, it'd be harder to drag my fat ass into a van.
Then don't say the opposite of what you believe.
Are much more strong and independent than men.
Then how come they can't walk alone at night?
Excuse me, you misogynist, sexist.
You need to leave.
That brings us to the end of this video. There were a few where they owned themselves, then a few where men owned. I hope you enjoyed this video. If so, then spread some love and leave a like under it. Also, hit that subscribe button for more great content.